Hello,
Good
Marina.
morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to the Stardust Show, powered by Radio Works World. And today we have the privilege of co-hosting the show with the amazing Lisa Newman, all the way from Australia. Over to you, Lisa.
Hello there, Marina. It's lovely to be on the show. Yes, it's 8:16 p.m. here in not so sunny Perth, Western Australia this evening, but it's lovely to be chatting to you all the way over there on the other side of the world. And thank God for technology, eh?
Brilliant. So, Lisa, tell us more. So, it is always a journey that people are looking back, thinking, "Oh my gosh, I survived all this." So, what brought you where you are right now?
Okay, so um, a long time ago, I probably start with a question I'd like to ask everyone, and that is, you know, if you can remember a time when you said to yourself, "I can't do this." And we've all had those moments in our life. But if you were with me in 1995, you'd be stood on a giant pontoon in the middle of the ocean. And as I looked over at you, if you were stood there with me, your face would be very, very nervous. Your palms would be sweaty and your mouth was dry. And and as you looked over at me, I started to talk and I said, "Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Great Barrier Reef. The, the thing that you're about to experience is the closest thing that you're probably going to come to flying unaided by an aeroplane." And, and as we put all this weird and strange equipment on our backs and on our bodies, we plunged down into the abyss. And there's fish swimming past us, and there's little Nemos and giant clams and huge cod. And I look over at you, and you are literally shitting yourself. But I'm not. I am. I'm not. But in my head, I've got this voice going, "Lisa, what the bloody hell are you doing? You know you shouldn't be down here. You know what the doctor said." And if you come back about 3 weeks before that moment where we were underwater together, um, we'd be sat in a doctor's office, a very prestigious neurologist, and he's in sitting in one of those posh fancy specialists offices, rooms with the mahogany table there, and he sat across the table looking at me and basically says, "Lisa, it's not good. Um, we've done a lot of tests and we've ran, you know, ECGs and MRIs and all sorts of stuff, and you have epilepsy." And I said, "I have what?" He said, "Yeah, you have epilepsy. You have seizures, and it's very, very serious." Uh, and at that moment, it was, have you ever been told, you can no longer do something that you love so much? And it was at that moment in my life that I just had this massive reality check, and I was like, "What? Are you kidding me? This is like the one thing that you cannot have. You cannot have epilepsy if you're a scuba diving instructor." And that was my life. That was my job. I used to go down and swim with all the fishies and take people and help them experience the ocean. And I'd done that every day of my life for about 4 years. Loved it passionately. The Great Barrier Reef was, a big part of my life. And I didn't know what to do. I was like, ugh, it's like someone had just cut my legs off. So, well, they'd certainly cut my fins off anyway, not my legs, but it was a time in my life where I just went, okay, I don't know what to do. So I do what I do when I don't know what to do. And that is, I come home here to Perth in Western Australia. For those of you listening over somewhere else in the world, the Great Barrier Reef, if you didn't already know, is based in Queensland, which is about 5,000 kilometres away from where I'm currently sat. So I came home And I came back, and you see me sat in my parents' living room, and my mum's worried sick because she thinks I'm going to go scuba diving again. And my dad's just eyeballing me, and he's saying, Lisa, your mother and I are worried bloody sick. We can't, please don't dive. Please, please, please do not go diving anymore. And it was, it was my dad. And he said to me, why don't you try coming in and selling cars with me? And I said, oh, piss off, Dad. I can't sell cars. I'm not a salesperson. And he said to me, what do you think you've been doing out there all this time? And I said, I've been teaching scuba diving. And he said, haven't you been taking people from a place of very, very, very uncomfortable feelings or a very uncomfortable zone and making them feel comfortable? I said, yeah, I guess so. And he said, well, what do you reckon sales is? And it was at that point that I thought, you might have a point, Daddy. Sometimes old people can be wise. So I took my dad's advice, and I ended up working I didn't work for my dad. I worked for a big car dealership here in Western Australia. And I learnt from the best. And I learnt from an amazing man called John Hughes. And he used to watch me talking to the customers. And we're like, oh my God, Lisa, you're talking them into the sale and then you're talking them out. You know, make sure you're always, always, always. And he taught me one of the most amazing rules about selling. And it's a no-brainer. And it's obviously that we've got one mouth and we've got two ears, and we should always use them in the right order. And, 6 or 8 months after starting in the car industry, I won Salesperson of the Month. And it was that little turning point where I just went, I can do this. I actually can do this. And 3 years later, you see me stepping into John Hughes's office and saying, John, I love you and I've loved doing what I've been doing, but I've decided to move to the world of radio. And at that time, I decided to move over to Melbourne in Victoria, which is also about another 5,000 kilometres away. We do live in a very big country. And I went over to Melbourne and I started working for Southern Cross Austereo, which was an amazing turning point for me in my life. And that was in 2000, and I've been in radio ever since. So it's quite ironic that I'm sat here tonight talking to you. Radio works, which is absolutely my motto in life. I do believe radio works. Radio works beautifully. Radio is my life. It has been for the last since 2000. So for the last 17 years, I've been passionately involved in radio here in Australia, and was only a few years ago when the lovely Cheryl Chapman, who I know has spoken in your show before, both her and I were mesmerised by an amazing public speaking man called Andy Harrington. Andy Harrington came over to Australia. I think Cheryl had already met with Andy and had just started her journey with him. And then I followed suit. Andy stood up there on stage and looked out at the audience and asked the question, raise your hand if you think you're an expert in something. And my little hand shot up, and I realised that I was an expert, not just in radio, but also in selling. And I developed a system, and I realised I had this burning, burning passion to eradicate the feeling that selling is bad and that selling is sales is a dirty word. So it's been my driving force for the last few years now. I've started the hotspot system a few years ago, and I've been working with and training people all over the world and teaching them that you can sell and still be a nice person.
story is so beautiful, Lisa. And for some reason, my mind went back into the years when I was reading a book about written by a French author, Saint-Exupéry. I don't know if
Oh
you
oui.
ever came across.
Mon mari est français. Il adore le
so,
Saint-Exupéry.
so you know when he landed by force into the desert, and then at
Yes.
first he said, "Wow, I'm finally free." So he felt that being disconnected from the outside world in the middle of the desert is a good thing to reconnect with himself. But then
Yes.
after a couple of days, he started wondering, okay, I'm free, but from where to where? I mean, I'm free of what? So coming back to your passion for empowering people with their own life purpose and teaching them that actually when you sell, you are not selling anything, you are just making an offer, and people who think and feel they deserve to take up on your offer could say yes to themselves. I so love the topic, and I think it's so much myth around selling. So I feel, as well as you do, I feel that not selling, not making the offer, not opening the gates into your own expertise, into your own knowledge is very selfish. What is the point
Yeah.
in showing off everything you know, everything you are, unless you make the offer and invite other people in? I think that's very
Yes.
selfish. So I know
Absolutely.
people have different experiences with selling, but each time I buy something, doesn't matter it's a pair of shoes or a book or um, lessons to fly a plane, or it's always about the experience, it's always about investing in myself because I believe I deserve it. And our effort through the radio works network is
Mm.
to plant the seeds of inner greatness. We are genius farmers, and we know that every single person was born with a very unique gift, and that gift is not going to be a gift unless you gift it. You gift that world, that gift the world with it. So you have to wrap it up, make it an offer, and gift the world with yourself. And it is never easy because as genius farmers, you have to get your hands dirty, you have to work inside, you have to nurture the soil so that the seed grows into a fruit bearing tree. And this is what you do, and this is so beautiful. And the way you share your story, I know it's a lot more to it, and I know our listener could connect with you on your website, lisanewman.com, and they could have more. It's always more. But I
Yes.
believe that what people are paying for when they come to your class, when they come to your program, when they come to your event, is actually your time. You are giving them your most valuable asset, your time. So,
That's it.
by all means, you know, being in the same room with Lisa, how that would change your life. By all means, if you are not in the same room with Lisa, if you are not sharing her time, if you are not colliding your ideas with her time, how much is going to cost you to start selling yourself? Nobody is selling me anything. I'm buying into something I think I deserve. And Lisa, you are pure stardust. Over to you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, look, I'm a big believer in something that actually is written on my Facebook page. Is that you know we we are the value of us is the amount of time we are willing to exchange for the amount of money sorry, I'll rephrase that. What's the I'm trying to get the saying
Yeah.
out. But it is everything is about the price of anything is the amount of life you exchange for it. That was the words I was trying to get out. The price of anything is the amount of life you exchange for it. And exactly what you were saying, most people, and one of the first questions that I ask people when they come on my course, when they come on my to my events, is I say, raise your hand if you've ever really enjoyed buying something. And most people, 99.9% of people in this world, have often had a very, very beautiful experience purchasing something that they've always wanted, whether it is, as you say, jumping out of an aeroplane, or going scuba diving, or buying a pair of amazing Jimmy Choos, or it could be coming on a training course that could help fast track so much of what, if you've got something, if you've got a product, if you've got a service, if you're really, really good at something and you want to share that knowledge and those tools and techniques of what you've taken years and years and years to learn, don't give it away for free. It's not free. It's there to be shared, but the price of anything is the amount of life you exchange for it. And that's what I'd love to try and help people do, is to get what they love, what they know, and what they're amazing at, and teach them, and to help them package up what they love into a product that then they can impart on other people and help other people grow. So it's yes, it is a sales process, but it's so much more than that, because it's all just about packaging up what you love and passing it down the line.
And Lisa, you are so right in saying this, and you just nail it. I remember when you first go to business school, to any kind of business class, even if you don't go to university. But when you go to business school, the very first lesson they teach you is how to buy time. So thinking about that, if that's the most valuable purchase you're ever going to make, buying time, why not selling your time? I mean, what makes you less priceless, less valuable than other people's time? All you have is time. I mean, all you have is right now my time with you, Lisa. And I'm so grateful. And I'm so, I don't know, even the word is beyond the power of expressing this, for your honesty, talking about selling. Because people bury their dreams alive. They take it to an early grave.
They do.
Because they don't make the offer for whatever it is that they hold the expertise, whatever it is that is their passion. And then they go and do a job for somebody else. So they become part of somebody else's dream. And they live their life with no purpose. Imagine if each one of us, who is so unique and so gifted already, would focus on their one gift, their passion, and create and deliver value. And allow others to buy into their time, allow themselves to sell their time, and allow others to say yes to themselves, because it's almost like this is the holy grail. Your time right now with me is the best gift I ever received to date. So your time is what you are giving me, and I'm giving you from my heart my time, and our time together is going to inspire somebody, even if it's one person, even one listener who is thinking, you know what, these women are not really mad. They are talking from their own experience, and they share the truth. Is not something that I need to learn. It's not something that I need to reinvent. I have to accept all I have is my time. How do I value my time? Many times my clients are asking me, so how do I price my program? And I'm looking at them in disbelief. I'm thinking, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Just think, what could you do within the time you are giving another person. And just ask
That's it.
yourself how much that person is going to pay struggling with the same challenge for the rest of their life. If you are not helping them now, if you are not selling them right now your time, they will go away and they will struggle some more and then some more. There is a lot of um, there is a lot of dishonesty within what makes people successful. But I think from where I stand, Lisa,
Yeah.
life is not about reinventing yourself. It's not about associating yourself with a big brand or somebody who could make you. You are already made. You got your own make. You are there. You are like this amazing unknown best secret that everybody's craving for.
I
And
know.
it
I
only
noticed
takes,
that was your post today on Facebook, and
yeah,
I liked it.
you,
I
you,
absolutely loved it,
you,
Marie.
you know, all it takes is not to create yourself or to reinvent yourself. You just need to accept this is your truth, this is who you are. All you need is to deliver yourself.
That's
Deliver
it.
yourself, make yourself available, stand up for yourself, stand into your own power. You don't
Yeah.
need anything, you already got it all. It's just a question, when are you going to awake yourself? When are you going to realize that this is you? You are born alone, you die alone, and you have to take responsibility for your own life. It's no one's business. This is nothing to do with anyone else. It is you. It is you being your best spokesperson, being the person that you truly are without thinking who I'm going to upset today, who I need to kiss today to make it better for them. No, you
Yeah.
just need to become the best version of yourself. And knowing this is going to hurt. But you know what? It's so worth it. What are the top three challenges that you had to embrace, Lisa, to become the person you are right now?
Well, it's always it's ongoing, to be honest, Marina. I mean, there's always um, the for me the biggest, and it's still going on today because I do I do still sell radio advertising. I'm connected to it, and I love it, but I'm scared to cut the umbilical cord completely and just do exactly what you're just saying. Be my own person 100%. I love my hotspot system and I teach it all over the world, but I've got this little tiny safety net called, selling advertising, where I know that that's a no-brainer for me, but I also know deep down that it's taking up way too much of my time. I do need to cut that tie, and I've been saying it for way too long, and it's time just to do it, to be honest, and be my true and authentic self. Because when I'm talking to you about selling and what I love so much, my heart is just bursting. I know this is exactly where I should be in my life. I know I should be doing a lot more of it, but I find myself getting pulled back, and I'll ask the question to everyone: why do we always do it? Why do we settle for good when we know we could be great? It seems to be a human trait that's built into us all, the way we all go, this is okay here. I'm good. I'm good. How are you today? Yeah, I'm good. I'm okay. I'm safe. I'm fine. And it's probably built in from cavemen days, I guess, where we retreat and we hide because it's safe. So my goal over the next very, very, over the next few months is to break those ties and just become the stardust that I must be.
Wow.
That's
I love you, Lisa. And you know what? You are stardust. And if somebody is asking me, oh, where are you coming from? Because of my accent, and I know I don't think with an accent. Can't they see that? So if they
mm,
don't see it, is my own doing. So when somebody is asking me where are you coming from, I always tell them I'm coming from Stardust. They look at me like I'm trying to make a joke and they can't laugh because they don't understand. I said, no, it's no
Yeah.
joke. Where are you coming from? Oh, I'm coming from so and so. I said, no, wrong answer. You are coming from stardust. Two gigantic planets had to collide to create you, for you to happen. And
Yeah.
the supernova is the reason you are here right now. How can you ignore that? How can you belittle yourself thinking that you are coming from one place or another when actually, you are stardust? The question is actually, what are you going to do about it?
Mm. Action, baby, action. Action speaks louder than words. Never a truer word has been said, and that's why I would like to offer today anybody the opportunity to jump onto my website. It's called www dot, of course, hotspotsystem.com.au. That's AU for Australia, of course. And have a little look see. There's a place where you could pop your name and address down, and I'd love to connect with anybody that's listening that would like some insights into sales and getting rid of that stigma and that scariness that surrounds that whole world, that whole word selling. Because I think for me, that is my number one goal, is just to alleviate that horrible, nasty, gut wrenching feeling that people get when you say you need to sell yourself, you need to sell your product, you need to sell your service, and people go, I can't sell, oh my god, selling, yuck, how can you do that bit? That sounds really, really terrifying, because it's so easy, especially when you're selling something you love.
Elisa, I love you so much. I just adore when somebody like yourself or Terry Chapman, who I absolutely adore, are coming on
I love her
stage.
too.
You bring your own genius and you are saying, look, I'm here, I'm sharing. I'm
Yeah,
sharing with you everything I am and everything I believe in. And it's happening for me and could happen for anyone. You just need to understand that what you have is not for you to hold, it's for you to
mm,
make an offer. And making
that's
that
it.
offer is easy. It's easy as long you understand it's nothing to do with you. Yes, it is your offer. But unless the right people will have access to what you have, unless you give it, unless you give people the chance to heal, to grow, to become, what's the point? What's the point in
Yeah,
you creating all this genius around your big idea? What's the point in you working so hard for it if you don't believe in it? And I think from what I remember from my own journey, I was ready. I was born ready, and yet I had no offer. So I think the moment you buy your own offer, everybody else can buy it. So you have
yeah,
to offer it to yourself first, because unless you buy it first, whatever it is that you got, your genius, your solution, your book, your program, your shoes, whatever you are creating, is being created, and you've been resourceful and you got all the help and all the intelligence you need to create that, simply to deliver. And I think most people will focus a lot on creating, being very proud of creating, and never finding the energy to deliver. So when you are offering me
that's it.
something, think, what is that I need to know? Do I need to know how the engine of your airplane is made, or how your boat is run, or who makes the food for the event you are hosting? No, I don't need any of that. I just need to know the outcome. I need to understand what is that is in for me. So when you are creating something, create with the end in mind. Just remember, you have to be very clear what is that you give, what is that is in for the person who is going to invest in themselves. It's almost like telling people, look, I make these beautiful shoes, just buy them. But they need to be a certain
Yes.
size, they need to be a certain color, they need to fit a certain kind of season. Because shoes, yes, are an amazing creation of somebody's artistic talent, and is perhaps something you could use to feel better. Is not necessarily
Yeah.
for not being barefoot, because we walk barefoot most of the time. We just don't realize we buy shoes because that makes you feel better, especially women. So shoes, the
Especially
same way
Cheryl
people,
Chapman.
yeah, the same way people are buying beds for a good night's sleep.
Yeah.
They're not
Yeah.
buying another bed because they want to fill the room. They need a good night's sleep. So it's how they feel after they slept on that bed. Yes. So
That's
just
right.
pick what is that is in for the person who want to invest. It's nothing to do with you most of the time. It's always the solution they
That's
need to
it.
their own struggle. Lisa, you are absolutely fabulous. We have to start another show right now, and
No,
hurts
you
me to
crack on.
leave you
I'll just finish with this little
going bed.
piece, and that is the reason why I've called it the hotspot sales system is exactly what you're just saying. And my whole philosophy around my system is that sales resistance melts in the presence of a hot idea. And that's it. That's why I've called it the hotspot sales system, because it's everything is about delivering a fantastic idea, not for you, but for your client, for the person that wants to buy. Because what might be a great idea for us could not necessarily be a great idea for them. As you say, you're buying a bed because you want a great night's sleep, not because it's going to fill the room up or whatever it may be. Anyway, thank you so much for your time, Marina. I really appreciate coming on your show, and big kisses to everyone listening.
Lisa, you are stardust from both of us until next time. I really, really wish it's going to be a next time soon.
I hope
Remember,
so.
you are stardust. Goodbye.
Thank you. Thank you, Marina. You are too.
Thank you.